Hello everyone, I'm Hugo.
And I'm Jake, and we're still fucking standing.
And this is the Bible Reloaded. And this is
I imagine we were both John McClane.
Yeah, it's like that. Our feet are all bloody. Anyway, what's happening is, this is a special video. Of course, we don't normally do things on Thursdays, but we wanted to talk about the strike issue that we were dealing with in the past couple weeks, like the past 3 weeks. If that doesn't interest you, that's fine, I get it, but for those of you who want to know what's going on and kind of hear how fucked up the YouTube system is, I'm sure you've heard it elsewhere, but if you want to hear what we've dealt with recently, stick around. If not, luckily, the video that we're going to be talking about did get back up. We did end up winning. Here's a link to that. It's very funny, I guess, by our standards. I
thought it was good. So yeah, so if you don't care about what we have to say, check that out. And if you do care about what we have to say, stick around, baby birds, because we will feed you.
So what happened was, this is over a month ago at this point, we were dealing with a different strike issue. And when we do that, as you may know, we've talked about it before, our video limits get put down to under 15 minutes. So when we do that, we usually do reviews of little kid shows or whatever, Christian kid shows, and that's usually a good time anyway, but, you know, it is limiting. So one of those we did was Colby the Computer. Now, this is a video we did because we had to, because we had a strike at the time for copyright, and we had to make a shorter video. Now, that got resolved. About 2 weeks after that, maybe 3 weeks after that, we then got this email from YouTube. Hi, The Bible Reloaded. The YouTube community flagged one or more of your videos as inappropriate. After reviewing the content, we've determined the video violates our community guidelines. As a result, we removed the following videos from YouTube. There you go. That's it. We are constantly working to keep YouTube free of spam. It's not okay to post large amounts of untargeted, unwanted, or repetitive videos. In addition, if the main purpose of your content is to drive people off of YouTube and onto another site, it will likely violate our spam policies. Learn more here. Your account has received one community guideline strike, which will expire in 6 months. Additional violations could prevent you from posting content to YouTube or even lead to your account getting terminated. For more information about community guideline strikes, please visit our help center. There's a link, clickety-clack. Please note that deleting this video will not resolve the strike on your account. For more information about how to appeal a strike, please visit this page in the help center. The YouTube team.
There's a few things we have to go over. First of all, this was not a DMCA. This is not a fair use claim, so the WTFU doesn't really apply here. And I know a lot of people in the comments, especially after they found out we had a strike, even though I said it was a community strike, obviously most of you don't work here, so you thought maybe it was still a DMCA issue, similar to what we went through with Ray Comfort or most of our other strikes. No, this is our first community strike, which means someone watched the video, flagged it, and for some reason, and usually you have to get like multiple, and maybe that happened, we don't know, because again, we don't get a lot of information on this kind of thing, which is awful, but they flagged it for the content inside, and according to this and some emails we received later, at first it seemed like they reported it as spam.
Yeah, I think so, right? Wasn't it spam?
They say spam, but later on it'll say like inappropriate content. But anyways,
I don't even think this is a conspiracy theory that's not really conspiracy because it's pretty fucking blatant. I think YouTube with these automated emails, because if you can't tell, this was written by a computer, they remain very vague and mention a couple different reasons, regardless of what it was flagged for, so you don't feel confident defending yourself, so you try and drop it or whatever. Of course, we can't do that because it's our job, but anyway.
Right. And then, and this second part's very important. After reviewing the content, we've determined that the videos violate the community guidelines. The thing is, they don't actually review it. No human being watched this video by the time we got this.
Nope.
Because what happens is, when you appeal the strike, which obviously we did because we're here, it goes through a panel, and then actual people watch it after that, like if you pester them long enough, basically, because you'll get automated emails for a while, which we will read you. But at this point, they're telling us they reviewed it. At best, they reviewed the claim with a computer, and it just said, yep, that's a claim. And that's really it. And as far as like the help center is concerned, I don't know why it's called a help center. There's no help to be had in that center.
No, and the worst, most patronizing part of the YouTube Help Center, if you've done YouTube and you've been there, it's on the bottom of every article. It says, like, was this article helpful? And you can click and do a little thing. No, I've never read an article on the YouTube Help Center that's been helpful in the least. Anyway, so as you might imagine, after we got this email, I took it upon myself to dispute this claim because it's bullshit. It wasn't spam. It wasn't any more inappropriate than anything else we do, and, you know, it is what it is. Of course, then we got this response. Dear The Bible Reloaded, thank you for submitting your video appeals to YouTube. After further review of the content, we've determined that your video does violate our community guidelines and have upheld our original decision. We appreciate your understanding. That's not condescending at all. Sincerely, the YouTube team. Again, remember, here, after further review, so not only are they saying they have reviewed it, they've now re-reviewed it, whatever that might mean. And somehow, after reviewing it twice, they still haven't seen it isn't spam. And by the way, I want to thank someone. One of the people who watch our videos, they clicked on the link to the video, and on that video, I guess it says like it's been removed for spam, specifically. So thank you to the person who said that. It was a puzzle piece that helped us piece together more so why this is bullshit. I forget your name. I apologize, but thank you for that.
But we have to talk about what spam is for a second, and they mentioned it briefly, but if you read further into the thing, it's very vague. It basically says don't have misleading titles, which could be anything. Don't have misleading metadata, which is the stuff inside your tags that you guys don't really see, or stuff in your description box.
Sure.
And make sure that you're, again, it says make sure you don't like kick people off YouTube and tell them to go to like Dailymotion or something, which no one would ever do because Dailymotion's garbage. But it's just vague. It's not constructive feedback. Like, you're not telling the creator or the YouTuber, hey, here's how you fucked up. Don't do it again. Because if we had legitimately fucked up, we wouldn't know why. And we would do this again, and we'd probably lose the channel and our livelihoods because they don't pay attention and they don't care enough. And we make them, I mean, it's not like a lot of money. It's like a drop in the bucket for YouTube, but it's not an insignificant amount. It's paying for someone's salary somewhere. So, I don't... it's just kind of ridiculous. Yep. And but Hugo replied.
Yeah. By the way, if you don't know, once you appeal something on YouTube, you can't re-appeal it. If they bounce it back by a computer, as this was, that's it. You're done. By the way, you can only appeal 3 things at once also, and once you appeal things enough times and it's rejected, whether or not you were in the right or wrong, you lose the right to appeal it altogether. So the system... Total bullshit. Anyway, here's what I wrote back to them, because also, if you don't know, once you're a big enough YouTuber, and it's not like, 100,000, it's like, if you get a certain amount of views a month, it's not, I guess I shouldn't say it's not that much, because for some people it is a lot, but we're way beyond the point where we can email YouTube, but we try not to do that first, because also, if you don't know, even if you can contact YouTube, unless you're like PewDiePie, you can only contact them via email so many times. I think it's either per year or per quarter before you lose the right to, because they think you're pestering them. Basically, they just don't want you calling them out on their bullshit, because there is a lot of bullshit. Anyway, here's what I sent them. We received a strike on a video and have been told it violates our community guidelines. This was not elaborated on. We therefore appealed the decision, and we find there is no content in a review that is inappropriate. You rejected our appeal with a canned automated response, again with no explanation. This is absolutely ludicrous, and there is absolutely no way an actual person reviewed the video and made these decisions. YouTube is our job, and we depend on it for a living. We have faced false strikes in the past, and every time we have to go through this and end up contacting a real person, then finally it gets resolved in our favor. Please watch this video and see it as just a comedy review. Please remove the strike, as it completely hinders our ability to do our jobs and support ourselves. And if for some reason you still feel we violated some community guidelines, please have the decency to elaborate and explain it to us explicitly and clearly so we know what the issue is. Bear in mind, at this point, I wasn't clear that it had been flagged for spam or what. I just knew it was a community guidelines thing. Again, they didn't even tell us. It's not like they said this is explicitly for that purpose,
But even so, even if it was spam, how did we do the spam? Like, don't just say you did a spam. Say, oh, it was here. Here's the time threshold in which you spammed. Here's what violates our community guidelines, and here's what you could have changed to stop it.
Right. Bear in mind, not spam, by the way. So then this is the response we got back, I think like a day, maybe 2 days later from someone at YouTube.
Thanks for contacting YouTube. Liar. I'm sorry to hear that your video has been taken down. I doubt that. I have escalated your issue regarding the video to our internal team for review, and I expect to hear back from them within a couple of days. Please be assured that I will get back to you with an update as soon as I receive an answer. I do understand the inconvenience that you may be facing in this situation, and I hope that we will be able to solve it as soon as possible. Regards, fake name. So this is what happens when you escalate something like this. They say they send it to a team. This is pretty much the point that I decided that I need to make some favor call-ins, because as we're a pretty big channel, not humongous, but we're certainly not struggling. We know a few people that might be able to help and stuff like that. And while I'm not going to give their names, we could get a little information on this. So I asked around to a few people, and it turns out that during the time that this was emailed to me, they didn't even have an office. The office that does this was moving and was relocating. So all the people in that office, they weren't reviewing anything for that amount of time. But they sent this anyways.
Thanks for your patience. I've heard back from the consult team. I guess they took like 5 minutes from moving boxes and took a look at our video. That's impressive. As your valued partner, I had the specialist team, that makes them sound official, recheck your video. After reviewing, they determined that activity in your account violated our community guidelines. Again, link you to the community guidelines in the hopes you'll read their vague bullshit and shut the fuck up. Which prohibits spam, scams, or commercially deceptive content. I'm sorry to inform you that the video cannot be reinitiated. Again, this is the first time where they've very explicitly said it was for spam, scams, or commercially deceptive content. For more information about account termination or how our community guidelines are enforced, please visit our help center. Again, the least helpful center I have ever visited. I've been to fucking plasma centers that are more helpful than this shit. And they literally took fluids out of my body. So... thanks for understanding. Again, the bullshit.
The fake name. Yeah. At this point, I was like, okay, it says spam, but it can't be spam. We didn't spam a thing. It's gotta be, there was a joke in the video, and again, you can watch it whenever you want. There's a link in the clickety-clack, where we make a cum joke. And this milkshake blows up on this kid's face, and we say something like, I didn't know Pornhub was around in the 80s. And so that's when I thought... that's probably where the joke went wrong for someone.
Sure.
Someone somewhere is like, oh my god, they just showed cum on a child's face. Which we didn't. It was a milkshake. I could see someone getting offended at that, especially a Christian that was already pissed off at us thinking, oh, gross. So I replied, what portion of the guidelines were violated? In no way was this spam misleading in its title or tags or a scam in some way. So what was it? It's a comedy review of a bad Christian children's show. We'd like an explanation for 2 reasons. 1, so we don't violate anything in the future. And 2, because, forgive me, but when you say specialized team, I have a hard time believing that given the automated nature of the YouTube responses as well as your canned and prepped reply to all our emails. I'd happily accept this if you could share their notes on the matter, maybe with timestamps covering the violation and a description of what those violations entailed. Short of that, I just don't believe you. I don't see how a human being could watch that video and find it in violation of anything listed in those guidelines. Please provide me with an explanation. In this email, and in the email that Hugo had sent earlier, we're both willing to accept if we fucked up, but tell us how we fucked up. Because if we actually violated your shit, totally legitimate. I get that, and that's fine, and we won't do it again when we'll learn from it, and we will move on, and we'll eat the 6 months, and we'll have to build up our other channels in order to get by for a little bit. But we don't find it in violation on our own, so you gotta tell us.
So then we got this response. Though I wouldn't be able to specify the exact details on the violation, weird, it's almost like based on nothing. And you just bounce it back. Anyway. And please be assured that I have checked it with my internal team. See, I don't know if this is the same as the imaginary specialized team, because here...
No. The specialized team is they're specialists. And the internal team, they live inside the larger specialist team.
Gotcha. Just checking. And unfortunately, their decision stands the same. I'd recommend you go to our community guidelines... Are you seeing a pattern?
Yeah.
This article explains the details of the content that can be uploaded to YouTube. We have very strict guidelines in respect to the content that is updated. The reason why we have these specific policies in place is that we want to maintain the best possible experience for both our users and our partners on YouTube. See, now it sounds
I don't
more
believe
like...
that second part. I don't believe
No.
that second part. The partners too? You want us to have a good experience here?
Please refer this Help Center article to make sure that your videos are aligned with our best practices. Okay, you want us to look at the community guidelines? Fuck it, let's look at the community guidelines. Here we go. Here's the first part of the community guidelines. Here's a link to the community guidelines. It's in the description box. Go for it. You can check them out yourself, but we'll go over them just briefly. Respect to the community. Pretty straightforward, but again, vague. We're not asking for the kind of respect reserved for nuns, the elderly, and brain surgeons. Just don't abuse the site.
Brain surgeon respect. Is that a thing?
I guess.
Oh, sir, I'm sorry. You work on the cerebral cortex. I will not make a dick joke around you.
Yeah. Every cool new community feature on YouTube involves a certain level of trust. We trust you to be responsible, blah, blah, blah. That had nothing to do with what we were doing. We were just...
Pretty much don't live stream your dick.
Yeah, pretty much. Then they have some more specific things. Violent or graphic content, which is things basically on YouTube. You can't show people dying or being wounded, like really bad with lots of blood.
You obviously can't violate copyright. You guys already know that as the DMCA issue.
Threats, obviously. I don't think we made a threat against the giant robot piano man in that review.
And then hateful content, which... promotes violence against individual groups, race, religion, etc. But this one's vague enough to where I feel like we could fall into that depending on someone's definition of hate, even though in the community guidelines it says promote or condone violence.
Yeah, we've never done that. We make fun of things, but we have never and would never promote violence against any group of people. I don't give a fuck what your religion is. Sometimes I might find it funny, but again, that's not even what we got flagged for. Don't cross the line, nudity or sexual content. This is where we kind of thought maybe it was that cum joke, but again, it's not actual sexual content. It was a kid with milkshake on his face, and it was a joke.
Right.
Again, if they had said that goes over our line, I think that's kind of bullshit, but they didn't. Again, they never watched the video, so don't even worry about that.
Right, and then harmful or dangerous content, like don't show people how to make bombs. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Don't incite, other people to do things, which could be anything from rioting or cause them to also get hurt. Although the ice bucket challenge, vague.
And then finally, the important one, of course, for us, spam, misleading metadata, and scams. Everyone hates spam. Don't create misleading descriptions, tags, titles, or thumbnails in order to increase views. It's not okay to post large amounts of untargeted, unwanted, or repetitive content, including comments and private messages. This is exactly what they sent us in the email, but, of course, you can click on the Learn More thing. And then this is their more specific spam stuff. And it's just the same stuff that they said. Video and comment spam, which is basically you can't do the same crap video.
Like we couldn't say like, oh, Justin Bieber leaked nudes and then just do like a regular show.
Yeah, no.
That would be spam.
Yep, correct. Which is why, even though some of our things have kind of silly titles, it always says Atheist Bible Study or Atheist Watch. It's always, it explains what it is. Anyway, artificial traffic spam. If you don't know, on YouTube, there you can get like bots and basically pay to get bots to view your video, and
they're really good at detecting that though. So I don't.
Anyone who does that is a moron because it's ridiculous. Anyway, misleading metadata. Like we said, this is just tags. We're very. I'm careful about the tags. I only tag things that, like even like on Unpopular Culture, our other channel, by the way, you can set default tags for things. And some of the ones we do for that are like video games, movies, whatever. But when I do a video and I go on it, if it's a movie review, I take out the video games thing because it's not a video. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're
Those
very
are just
careful.
there so that we kind of have guidelines, so we don't have to type the same shit over and over. But yeah, we try to delete them and do the best we can. I mean, obviously, sometimes you're gonna miss something like that, but no one's flagging us because our metadata is wrong in the community. Like, you're not watching that, and then you can't look at our metadata.
Right.
So that'd be a YouTube automatic thing,
yeah.
And that wasn't a YouTube automatic thing. That was a user that flagged this, or multiple ones.
Then we have misleading or racy thumbnails. The thumbnail was a robot in front of a screen. So, nope. Scams, nothing. It was a comedy review. We literally did nothing but tell jokes. And then blackmail or extortion. Don't think I blackmailed anyone.
I may have extorted Hugo, but that was like off screen.
Yeah, that wasn't part of the show. That's part of our abusive relationship. Anyway, so those are the community guidelines in case you were curious as to what they kept telling us to look at. Again, they told us to go to this, the least helpful thing in the world, because what we're trying to tell them is basically, we don't think we violated those. We are aware of them already. We've been doing this for years. We don't think we did that. And then asking them, if you think we did that, please tell us what thing specifically and how. And they continually say, no, but look at them. No, but fucking tell us. Don't tell us to look at them. We get it. We're not idiots. We can read it.
And so in lieu of all of that, I tried one more time to reason with the person behind the keyboard that was sending me this shit, although I think it was probably more than one person.
Yeah.
And I emailed the following. I understand that it's been checked by a team, but you must also understand that just saying, you did a thing we don't like, and then not explaining the thing is neither constructive nor helpful in preventing this in the future. I have the video in question on my personal hard drive, and I haven't found it to violate any of the community guidelines, vague as they may be. I found out, immediately after I sent this, I could have just looked at our video page. It still lets us watch it, but not you guys. 1. We weren't spamming. It's part of our regular scheduled content and was only uploaded once with proper tags. 2. We weren't scamming, as we weren't getting money or trying to get money for goods and services that we refused or were unwilling to provide. 3. We didn't show gratuitous violent or sexual content. In fact, neither of those things were present in the video whatsoever. The most sexual thing was a kid who had vanilla milkshake on his face. If that's breaking community guidelines, this is no better than censorship. 4. Since it was Community Strike, it wasn't DMCA related, but I could certainly see a Christian being upset by our review of a very creepy kids show. Nonetheless, it is available in its entirety on YouTube, and we show no content in our video that isn't shown on theirs, milkshake face and all. So you see, if this violates community guidelines, there's no way the original video doesn't as well. At best, we said things in the review that offended the views and or sensibilities of a person or people, which is bound to happen. Allowing censorship of a video that happens to make some people upset would be the same as censoring a pro-gay marriage video, an anti-abortion video, or sex lessons with Lacey Green, who, if you don't know, is a very popular YouTuber. Regardless of the views we have to allow Jake, you fucking idiot, them, to speak unless they advocate for the harm or endangerment of others like the KKK or ISIS or something, which, by the way, we didn't do either. I wouldn't be surprised if we got age restricted for the content, as we do swear. To be fair, so does Markiplier, PewDiePie, etc. And the content is a Christian's kids show, which was a little joke on my part. But Community Strike? We didn't violate any of the rules in the guidelines, and saving any more specificity from you, I can't, in good conscience, stop requesting the strike be removed. I'd happily settle for a non-monetized, though that video is popular, and age-restricted version of the upload, and even better, if you tell me what content was deemed inappropriate, I'll edit it out. If that's not enough, keep the video, but the strike is gratuitous and unfounded. YouTube doesn't exactly have the best rapport with its creators right now, and I know it's not directly your fault, fake name, but have you personally seen the video? You should. Regardless of your beliefs or sensibilities, we're not saying anything more than Louis C.K. or Jim Jeffries do, both can be found on YouTube, and not showing any content worse than a Christian children's program. And I tried to, if it was a human, I'm asking for your help, man. This is our job. We put our livelihood in the trust of YouTube, and you're the ones that wanted us to be partners. Don't allow an offended member of the community to affect my living with the click of a button like that. Please help me out.
And then radio silence. No emails back whatsoever.
Nothing.
That was it.
Nothing. But luckily I had my feelers out, and I did get contacted back by a party that would be able to help us. And through a series of correspondence, they said, okay, let me see what I can do. They've been moving their offices, but I'm going to do the best I can to try to see if they can, get this video thing taken care of. And I will, I'll contact you as often as I get information to you.
What makes me upset about this mostly is the fact that, especially at a time when it's not the biggest thing on YouTube, but if you've seen videos that hashtag where's the fair use, and then there's like hashtag make YouTube great again, all these things that are going on in the midst of YouTube and how people are kind of getting upset with how badly they're treating the people who make the content for YouTube. Apparently they moved this office whose entire job is to try and check their bullshit automated system, and they're the check in place. When YouTube, if you complain to them about their automated system, they will say, well, then you can escalate it. We have these people to look at it. So apparently, while they were moving this office, there was no contingency plan at this moment for... I gotta assume we weren't the only one got fucked over by this. There has to be other, especially smaller people, who got totally screwed over by this. And
for sure.
And no, YouTube had no plan. What kind of management was in place where they're like, oh, hey, we have to move this office for whatever reason. It's a business. They have to move offices. Fine, fuck it. What are we going to do in the meantime? Because you're the check on things. You're the final goalie. You're the one making sure that the system is fair and working, and you're the outlet for when things go wrong. We'll just bounce shit back. Like, who signed off on that and didn't think this through?
I guarantee whatever happened, they had limited time to even actually look at shit. Because I don't doubt that they were still doing their jobs sometimes. But there's no way that moving offices and having all that shit going on and being very busy, if anyone's ever worked in an office or any professional setting where things are in flux or there's construction or anything like that, it affects your work. It affects it. And I understand that. But this is the direct result of having such a small staff involved with this. And it is very small comparatively. I don't know the exact numbers because I forgot them. But from what I am told by the contacts that we have, it's not as big as you'd think it'd be. It's actually kind of small and depressing.
The thing that makes me mad about that is that, honestly, if they had set up even just as a contingency when you did that during that time, and they said, hey, we'll look at that maybe in a week or two, where we're really sorry, but we're moving offices, but we can't look at that, that's fine. Would it be annoying? Sure, but it wouldn't be dishonest. It wouldn't be them directly lying to us and saying, we looked at the video, but they didn't. No one looked at that video. No one looked at that video. And it's the kind of thing that literally would have taken 2 seconds. Click on the video, there's a theme song, then there's jokes, not spam. Look at
and we actually have proof that they didn't look at the video.
Even based on the metadata of the video, couldn't you see this had tens of thousands of views at the time and had tons of comments, and the up likes or whatever were way outweighing the dislikes? And I'm talking by a lot. I think the dislikes are maybe 1%. That's pretty much how it goes usually with us. It ranges from 1 to 5 if it's something controversial, maybe 10. But none of that raised any flags like, hey, maybe this isn't spam. It's absurd. What a ludicrous system. But anyway.
So it's just one of those things. It's not cool. It's very detrimental. But luckily, we do have some contacts, and what happened was suddenly the video comes back up, and they didn't email me. They hadn't gotten anything back, and so a few hours go by, and then I had sent them a message and was like, "Oh my God, you're like my favorite people. Yeah, this is great. Thank you so much for helping." And they're like, "Wow, that's weird. Usually I get more correspondence. Let me check my emails." And there was an email, and it was very short. It was from one of the people that is in charge of looking at videos like this. And the email basically said, and I'm not going to share any information from it, but the email basically said, "Wow, that's ridiculous. I fixed it already. There's no point of this that it was ever violation. I don't know why this even made it to me. It's up now, and it's all good to go." They were the first people to ever look at the fucking video, ever.
That was 3 weeks after, maybe a month, at least.
After we've been told 4 different times that, yeah, we looked at the video and it's upheld.
Yep.
But luckily it was taken care of, and the people that helped us know who they are, and they're fucking amazing.
Yes.
And I love them.
Thank you very much, seriously. Because, again, if you don't understand what the strike entails, we can't upload videos longer than 15 minutes. All of our videos, except for when we can't, are longer than 15 minutes. All of them.
We can't do external links, so we couldn't link people from the page onto our Patreon, for instance. So it doesn't just affect this; it also affects how we get tipped.
Yep. You can't do live shows. We do once a month patron only live show, which was gimped. We would have been able to do it on a different channel, but if we didn't have that channel already, you don't get live streaming privileges if you just make a new channel either. So that wouldn't have worked. It also disables your ability to dispute other claims, which is
ridiculous.
That makes no sense. I don't know.
What if someone's being targeted by a group of people, and 3 or 4 of their videos get messed up? You know what I'm saying? If someone can't take action like we can, it could really cripple someone.
Yeah, I really don't know I don't know what's going to happen to YouTube at this point. I don't know if things are hitting that rock bottom where they have no choice but to change things, or if it's just going to stay this bad and stagnate, and if people are going to get driven off YouTube altogether. But there's really no viable option other than YouTube at
Right.
this point either, so I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah, I don't know. We've been talking about getting our own website, and we probably will do that and host our own videos, especially stuff that would normally flag their DMCA
Sure.
bots, but wouldn't necessarily violate fair use.
Sure.
Stuff like using clips for review on major movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But moving forward, it's just one of those things. This happens a lot to us, and I think part of it is due to first of all, there's shitty DMCA, but also, I mean, just the content. It was bound to happen. We're atheists. We're a minority. I get it. But at the same time, like YouTube, you're supposed to be our backbone, and kind of back us up. But because of this, we are moving towards partnership with another network, and as we get closer to that, we'll disclose more information so you guys can kind of see what's going on with that, because it seems like we found a really, really great network.
Yeah.
And they provide more support. And it's sort of one of those things where YouTube trusts networks more than they trust just freelance people who work off AdSense.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm very dejected by this whole thing and how shitty
Same.
YouTube treats people sometimes, so I don't know. I don't know what to say at this point. They're so bad. They are so bad.
So that's really the end of the story. That's all the information we have. That's all the information that you're gonna get, I think. I mean, I don't really have more than that for you. So if you have any more questions, we'll try to get them in the comments. Maybe we'll do them on Jake Reads Her and Ask Hugo if they're complex. But other than that, like that's really all the information they gave us in regards to the strike, and that's what we dealt with for almost a full month.
Yeah.
And so thanks for sticking around. I know some of you went over to the Quran Reloaded for our full-length content, like the track we did with Logic and stuff. We will be re-uploading some of that. So if you see that in your feeds, you can watch it again. That'd be great. Or you can just ignore it. It's just so that for posterity's sake, we have our playlists in order and stuff. But we wanted to make sure we got this video out before we started blowing up your feeds with nonsense.
Yeah. So thanks, everyone, if you did sit through this whole video, and thank you. I guess you're probably people who either like us or are frustrated with YouTube. I like both of those groups of people.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So I guess until next time, assuming we don't disappear from YouTube sending ninjas after us or something, I guess I'm Hugo.
And I'm Jake.
And this has been The Bible Reloaded. For now. We'll see. We'll see what happens.